Then we pump those profits back into the profit cycle to generate even more profits. And I know what you're going to say. Profits? Yes, Stan. You're soaking in them.
Hey everybody, how's it going? It's your boy ExtrmWill, Extreme Tech. Here I am again with my daily video that I for sure do every single day. Yeah, it's been, pretty sure it's been over a week since the last one. In my defense, at least this time, it wasn't me being lazy. I was actually out of town, so, but I still didn't do it when I got back in. I still worked several days before I got back into doing it, so, but yeah, so a lot of stuff has happened. I got my 5070 Ti in, no, my 5060 Ti in, 16 gigabyte card, I think it is. It was dead, so I had to send it back. So I still don't have my 50 series card yet, don't have any of the 50 series cards, but I do have one theoretically coming. I don't know if I have the new shipping date on it yet. Yeah, I don't know when that goes through, because I guess I sent that back to UPS, through UPS this morning maybe. So yeah, I don't know when it's coming yet. It is going to be coming though, so we will be getting 150 series card up and running, and I am kind of excited for it, but we'll have to wait to see when that happens. I am spending way too much time playing video games, so I am double tasking here and auto playing this stupid video game here while I'm doing this, which is keeping me from doing all my salad stuff. Let's see, there was also a salad update, so we are on 1.8.1, I believe. I think the only real change is if you have more hard drive space, you can increase the amount of hard drive space you're allocating to salad. I haven't seen anything yet where this is creating a real benefit for you yet. So I don't know what exactly it's supposed to be doing. Like, I think it's supposed to allow you to have more saved in there to make it easier to pick up jobs and stuff. So I haven't noticed that necessarily. I want to say I saw like that first day they turned it on, it didn't seem like it was working quite right. It seemed like I had a couple that got kind of jammed up. Right now though, I think only half of my machines are on the new version, and about half my machines are still in the old version. I think a lot more of them now are on the new version than were on the new version like yesterday. Yesterday, I think only like 6 of my machines probably were on the new version. Now I think maybe I'm a little over half are on 1.8.1. I still have a bunch running on the old, on 1.8.0. I'm going to leave everything running on the old version as long as it's in the job, and if I happen to come across one that says it's inactive, that needs to be updated, then I'll update it then. I think right now, too, we have some really nice stuff going on here, so let's refresh this. I also redid videos on... I have a video pinned on the top of my page for I'm using Firefox now to monitor my salad, because I think this add-on renamer works a little better than the one does for Microsoft, or not for Microsoft, for Chrome. I think all of them work better if you're using less than 10 machines. Because I'm using over 10 machines, I think like the one on Chrome just it can't handle me having like 30 machines in the system. Just doesn't like it at all. So this one on Firefox seems like it handles it a lot better. I think I've got 27 or 28 in the system right now. I'm only running on 20 machines. Everything is running on Windows 10. But if you do want to use one of these add-on browser extensions, you can go take a look at the previous videos I made on them. I think they make things real handy. You'll see here too when we get into this, like, we can see all the machines in here because this is what I renamed them as, so I know what's what. And of course, to get this to work, we're going to have to do all the stupid stuff we still have to do. So we're going to come to the network. We'll take a look at this really fast and see basically everything is in high. 3070 Ti is the only thing I have right now that's not in high. It's in moderate. So this should be really good to help you figure out. If you have a machine right now that's not in a job, or that hasn't been in a job for more than 6 hours, you need to take a look at that machine and try to figure out what is wrong with it. Try to reinstall Windows. Well, no, I probably don't start with that. Start with maybe rebooting the machine, deleting your WSL file from your program data. Reinstall Salad. If that doesn't work, then try to reinstall Windows. If that doesn't work, then I'm not sure. Can't think of anything that would be harder than that. Maybe try to get a hold of the Salad team specifically and create a ticket. But right now, with everything being in high demand like this, everything should be in a job. So this makes life super easy, because there shouldn't be any like, I don't know if my machine's working or not. It's pretty easy to figure out. If it's not in a job, it's, go check that specific machine. So it does make things really easy. So let's see, do we need to get one more page here? Salad Network, everything in here pretty much. My 5060 Ti still not listed on here yet, has me a little bit worried. I'm hoping that it not being listed isn't going to be a problem. I haven't seen anyone having any of them posted in the Salad's earnings yet on the Discord, but we will see. So let's come back again. And now, what is going on here? All right. So we're going to select all. So 22 hours. This one right here, I think, I don't know if it's Windows updates. I had a bunch of machines reset on me, so I think this one just reset and I just returned it back on. So it should be good. I updated it. Let's see, 4070 Ti. It's doing this pretty standard job now of 0.84 cents per hour. That should be about $2 per day. So that's doing pretty good. I believe this is running at about 85 cents to $1 per day in electric. So I'm making about $1 per day profit on that. So that's good. My 3060 Ti's and my 3060s for the most part are all shut off because they were all doing 0.4 cents per hour, which is about $1 per day, and at 18 cents per kilowatt hour, that's about 85 cents per day in electric to make $1. So I'm only profiting like 15 cents, which in fees I'm not even profiting anything. So all of my 3060 Ti's and my 3060s and half of my 3070s right now are shut off. I do have one 3060 on because that PC upstairs basically has to be on anyways. So I'm okay with just that one, the electricity on that one being a wash. But I did turn all my 3060s and 3060 Ti's off, so you'll see this is at 8 days. So I know and understand that one's not in here. It's not on anymore. So 4090 number 3, we'll go to the next one. This is doing $2.59 per day. Let's come into here. I believe that is, what is that? 262. What did I say? 259 is $6.21 per day. So that's crushing it. It's kind of what I really hope and expect from all of my 4090s. Let's see, this next 3090 is doing 0.1 cents. So that's actually doing better than I would have thought. That's doing about $2.60 per day. So that's making more than all the other 3090s are, because most of the 3090s are on this 8.5 cents per hour job. So that one's doing really good. Next, my 4060 Ti. 4060 Ti number 1 is doing 0.77 cents per hour. It should be just under $2 per day. I believe, what is that going to be? Is that going to be like $1.80 or $1.90? I'm pretty sure this is still using less than $1 a day of electricity. It should be using about 85 cents per day in electricity, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if I have one of these on my hardware info yet to be able to really be tracking that better. I've hooked my hardware info up on about half of my machines. I can't go into everything right now in Chrome Remote Desktop because it's crashing stuff out. So if I do go into Chrome Remote Desktop, I got to get in and out of it really fast. So I'm not going to show you guys all that info, but I have put my hardware info on about a quarter to a third of my machines that are running. so I can get a better idea of what I'm doing for electric. But I believe this is doing pretty good though. Let's see, it's 3070 T4. This one is currently off. I might turn it back on. That may be a tonight or tomorrow thing. I'm going to think about it and try to see exactly what the profitability looks like. Maybe when we get down to one of the next ones, because this one's on this dumb job. I don't know if it's just picked this one up or if it's halfway through picking that one up. I'll take a look and see. But this one is currently off, and I might turn it back on. We'll see. So this next one we'll get into is 3070 Ti. This is doing 10 cents per hour, so this is doing better too. This isn't. They were all doing that 8.5 cents per hour. So this is making quite a bit. This is doing really good. This next 3070, it's 3070 D3. Yeah, I'm definitely not happy with it being at this 4.5 cents per hour because this is only $1 per day. So this is spending 85 cents right now in electricity to make $1. So if this is actually going to be at 4.5 cents when I check later, I might turn this one off too. Maybe I'll turn all the 3070s on, see what they're at, and then in the morning, if they're at 4.5 cents, just turn them off. If they're at the 6.5 cents, I can keep them running because then I'm making actual profitability. Because at the 6.5 cents, it's doing like $1.50 a day. So then I'd be making 65 cents per day in profitability on them after electricity, which that's enough for me to keep them running. Just try to pay attention to your margins. Constantly crunching the numbers on how much the electric is, trying to figure out better how much my electrical cost is and what that actual effect is on everything. A lot of kind of pain in the butt, but it is what it is. This is my favorite video game right now, so even though I'm playing this one, and I won't stop playing this stupid one, the salad stuff is still my favorite to be thinking about. So this next one, this 3080, I just updated this one. I don't know why it's not in the job yet. Let's see here. Can I grab Chrome Remote Desktop? Let's slide this over here and up and go here. And what is that? 3080. Let's see. Is this in the job yet? Open in a new tab. Might not be. We can show you guys some of what I'm doing here. So I do have this down here. That should be in a job right now. Is it not reporting at 100 watts? No. Still not in job yet. Alright. Boom. Boom. Shut it down. Alright. Yeah, not in a job. I don't know why it's not. I just updated it, so hopefully it gets in job here pretty quickly. Let's go to the next page here. Let's see. So this one's off. This one's off. This one I just updated. I had a bunch of them. It looks like some of my machines I was able to turn off my Windows updates, but my machines that I have that are on Windows 10 Pro, I was able to shut my updates off on. But my machines that are on normal Windows, I don't even know what standard Windows 10 is called. I wasn't able to turn the Windows updates off on those, so some of those did reset today, I think. And I think this is one of them, and then it got updated. So hopefully it'll get back in a job here really quickly. This next one, RTX 3070. This one's going 7.5 cents per hour, which I don't know what 7.5 cents per hour is, because that's not what the job was a couple days ago. So let's turn the calculator up and see what exactly is 7.5 cents per hour. 0.074 times 24 is $1.77. So it's not terrible. I'm using about 85 cents a day in electricity minus 0.85. So that means I'm making about 92 cents. Oh, wow, that's way better than I thought. That is way, way better than I thought. Yeah, I need to turn on all my 3070s. I'll do that after this is done. I think I have one here in pieces, so I need to put that one back together again. And then I will need to turn them on. and see what they're doing. And then see if they can get some of these better jobs, because that's good. I like that. So this one is on. It got reset. I just updated it, turned it back on. This one here also got reset, so I just updated it, turned it back on. RTX 3090, 0.84 cents per hour. So as I said, that's $2 about. And I think I said through my hardware info, it looks like I'm burning about $1.30 a day, so it's making about 70 cents per day. So it's doing pretty good. Like my 3070s right now are actually significantly more profitable for me right now than my 3090s are. I don't think I want to shut my 3090s off. I just kind of want to hope the 3090s can get a better job to make them make more sense for me to be running them, because right now 3090s are really close to not being profitable, but they're making enough. That margin is just big enough. I think I'm making about 70 cents per machine above my electric. So it's been just profitable enough where I'm going to keep them running, but definitely something I'm keeping my eye on. 4070 Ti, making the exact same thing as my 3090s are, about $2 a day. I believe it's running significantly less wattage though, so my margin on that is a lot better. I don't remember right offhand exactly what my electric is on that though, because I only have 2 of them, so I'm not paying as much attention. And then we'll get in here 3060. This one is shut off 8 days ago. And 3080 machine 9. This one is the 3090. No, not 3090. This is the 3080 that I traded in for my new 5060 Ti 16 gigabyte card. Unfortunately, I waited to send it in until I got the new one, and when I got the new one in, the new one came in dead, so I wasn't able to ship it out before I had left to go on vacation. I had to wait until I got back to ship it out, because I got it in the day before I left. So, I mean, I tried doing everything I could to get it to work. It was just black screen, like, computer wouldn't even post, so nothing would post with that card. I tried doing the update for the new driver onto the hard drive before I put it in, and that didn't work either. Everything I had heard about to try to do, I tried doing. For the most part, all the problems I saw, they're supposed to be having problems on like Gen 5 sometimes. Some of the newer Gen 5 stuff may need a motherboard update. It's not supposed to have a problem on Gen 3 or on Gen 4 at all. So, it's not that I could see or find out about. I tried looking, researching everything I could, because I didn't want to ship it back. I wanted it up and running. I wanted to have data for you guys in this one. Like, it was supposed to be big. Yay! 50 series card. I'm finally covering a 50 series card, like, other than hypothetical. But, no, I am just sitting here waiting to get my 50 series card still. So, and this one's already gone. So this machine is currently down. I do have 128 gigabytes of RAM in this machine right now that's currently not doing anything because there's no card in there. Well, we wait for the new card to come in. So, yeah, that one, it'll get back up here pretty quickly. So let's go to the next page. RTX 4090. This one's doing about 20 cents per hour, which is about $4.90 per day. I don't know why I can't get all three 4090s to be doing 20 cents at one time. This one's doing 0.14 cents per hour, which is about $3.30. I haven't calculated out the exact cost of the electric on the 4090s yet, because I guess for the most part I know they're profitable, so I just don't care as much. Maybe I'll have that information gathered in the next one. The 3090s I looked at specifically because I wanted to make sure that at my 18 cents per kilowatt hour, these were still being profitable. So we'll go over that again. This is doing 0.84 cents per hour, which is about $2 per day. And I'm using about $1.30 per day in electric, so I'm making about 70 cents. So using this information with my hardware info to gather the data, and then taking what it says the average electric usage is, and then I'm adding about 100 watts for the motherboard and CPU, because that seems to be about right as best as I can tell. It has some CPU usage in there on my hardware info, but I don't think that's getting you like the whole board. I think it's just giving you the CPU usage, and I don't think it's telling you everything for the entire board is using. So if you're just using my hardware info, I think you'll get a little discrepancy there, because it won't necessarily be covering everything correctly. So this 3070 is currently turned off. I think I'm going to try to turn it back on, and we'll see what it picks up. 3060, these are all turned off. Kind of heartbreaking. This one's a really nice system, but yeah, it's shut off. So this next one, RTX 4060 Ti. This is doing 6.5 cents per hour. Not necessarily my favorite job, but it's not terrible. Let's see, do I have that up here? It's like $1.50 at 85 cents per day in electric. So that should be about 65 cents profit per day. So that's not too bad. 3090s, I feel like we've already covered plenty enough. And 4060 Ti, this one's way better. It's doing the same job as a 3090 at, I want to say, like 100 less watts. Maybe even 150 less watts per day. So 4060 Ti is definitely doing a lot better. Yeah, I can't really go into Chrome Remote Desktop, as I've stated before. It's having some issues. It'll let me do it. I'm trying to avoid doing it when I brought everything up in Chrome Remote Desktop a couple minutes ago for myself as I was going through and working on stuff. I saw it dropping jobs, and now I'm super paranoid about it losing jobs while I'm in there, because I'm creating a virtual machine while it's trying to do virtual work and having issues and dropping work. I don't want to be intentionally dropping the work myself, so we'll have to figure out a way to do this where I can go back and forth between showing you what I'm actually doing in the machine, what I'm not doing in the machine. One other thing to say, my power limiting, I pretty much stopped doing a lot of that. They're getting way more finicky on it. I don't know if it's because I make YouTube videos and people watch, and they're like, oh, let's go check Will's account to make sure that he's not, messing around too much, And so, yeah, it's not really working well for me. I did not see any errors until probably after my last video, and then now I've seen a whole bunch of errors, so it's not working as well as I had hoped and wanted, so we'll see how this goes going forward. But yeah, my power limiting is not really working, so kind of stopped doing a lot of that. So yeah, that pretty much seems to be pretty much all that. Oh, well, we didn't go into what I'm actually making. Duh. This is supposed to be what am I making video. So we can see the last 30 days starting to come back up again. $966. My total electric bill still well under $700. I gotta imagine it's gonna be well less than that, and that's for everything. It's for the AC running 24/7, all of the salad. I've got this whole monstrosity in this room. We have multiple TVs throughout the house and electronics. Everything in the house is electrical, so still definitely salad being super profitable altogether. Trying to do what I can to work everything around, so I'm only on 20 machines right now out of a possible of like 30 altogether. Stuff that's not being profitable is all shut off. So the last 24 hours I made $36.92. So we come in here, it's looking like it's been about $1.50 an hour. If I were to turn on all 28 machines I have right now, I could get up to think. I could get up to about $2 an hour, which would be $40 per day. But then I would be using a third more electricity. So it just seems like it's not necessarily worth it to be running all of my machines right now. So I'll come up with a plan for what I want to do. In my head, I'd like to start trading in all of my 30 series cards or selling my 30 series cards and getting everything up to the new 50 series, but the new 50 series doesn't look super profitable, so I don't know what exactly I'm going to do. I'm probably just going to sit on everything and think about it and then wait to see if, they go back to being more profitable or not. Because if the 3060s and the 3060 Ti's go back to being more profitable, I'll turn them back on, but if they're going to be just right at that limit where I'm not making anything, I'm not going to bother with it. So, but that's kind of how that goes. We look at the last 7 days here. So I believe here at $40.43, I believe I'm still at. This is 28 machines. I believe this is 28 machines, and this is 28 machines, about $40 a day. And then 35, 35, 30, 36.29, and 36.45. I believe these are 20 machines. That doesn't make any sense because those were still from 8 days ago. So no. So this is still all. This is all 20 machines, because those are all 8 days ago. So this is still all just with 20 machines. So with 20 machines, I can still make $40 a day. I think. Is this the update? Today was 6/7 from Saturday. I think the update came out. Yes, this is probably where the update came out, and then I don't know why it's making less. I haven't really played with it, but it is. So it can still do really, really well. See here, still some stuff of me playing around with stuff when I lost internet, and constantly turning machines on and off, and turning machines on and off. And the highest point I had, $50.28 once they've got all these jobs up and running with everything going. So I guess I was making $50 a day with all 28 machines, and then I can make $40 with the 30, so or with the 20. So it's kind of how it goes. Anything else to cover? I'm probably gonna start switching up to try to do Venmo. I think the Venmo with the $200, I think I can pay less fees. So I may start trying to switch up to do that. We'll see how that goes, if I like it or how I don't like it. Let's see. Where are we at? We are at 27 minutes. So let's see. What was my last video? Okay, that one's not. That one's renaming machines. So let's see here. What do we have in comments? Oh, I got a lot of comments in here from the last video. Gemini. Salad is cooking. It's about time. Yeah, salad's doing really good. Does CPU get work as well? You need like 1 to 2 cores to run salad. There are a few random circumstances you can get where they'll want you to use more cores, but for the most part, you really just need like 1 to 2 cores. You need like 1 core for your system and 1 core to run salad. So your CPU doesn't really matter for salad at all, but there are some weird instances where if the customer wants to, the customer can pay for more cores. So, I mean, they very rarely do. So that's why I have, with my 4090s, I have a 20 core processor on all of them. So if the customer wants to pay for more, they can, but it's just not real likely. So I try to have the better card with the better CPU, just because I think it's a better way to do it. More of for flexibility. So if I do want to do something like, if something like, say, Warthog were to come back around and I were to decide I wanted to start mining Warthog, I want my 4090 with my 20 core CPUs, and then I want my 3090s on my 12 cores, and then I want all of like my 8 gigabyte cards on like my 6 cores and less kind of thing. So kind of got it all kind of lined up like that. My RAM is all kind of lined up the same basic kind of way. On my server RAM, I was trying to get 128 gigabytes of RAM on everything, but then I turned around and I turned too much stuff on. So a lot of my X99 server boards are running 128 gigabytes of DDR4, and then everything else is running between 64 to 32 gigabytes of DDR4. But your CPU doesn't really matter. Gert SJ, get GPU Z to monitor power on your card. See how much? I'm using My Hardware Info. I'm used to using My Hardware Info. I believe they basically both do the exact same thing. I'm just more familiar with My Hardware Info, so that's the one I'm using. I think they're both basically the same thing, though. So, Darnell, 4 salad rigs, all had jobs, and I lost power last night. Yeah. My response, that stinks. At least the demand is really high, so even if you do lose power right now, you're not really falling that far in the queue. It's not like you don't need to be queued up right now. I don't think you need to be queued up right now for a week to be picking up jobs when everything's in this high demand like this, because they've restructured how the demand works. So if something's in high demand right now, like, you should really be getting that like right now. You should be picking that up within a little bit. Now, if it's something where like you did reset your power, you are going to go to the back of the line for the queue, but it should pick it up pretty quickly. Like, I'd imagine if I would go back and look on here right now, half that stuff I should have picked up jobs from the ones that were idle. So, with everything being in high demand. So, Blair Sweeney, I had a couple of machines that said it was working a job, but actually wasn't. Sale dashboard said they hadn't connected in 3 to 6 hours. I deleted WSL files, restarted. They both showed up on the dashboard and picked up jobs quickly as each card was in high demand. Yeah, one thing to double check on that too. Let's see here. Where is this? We'll come in here. One thing to double check too. I was not good about checking this. I'll be honest, I very rarely do. If your machine's not showing up on the salad demand, come in here to double check to make sure that you are actually logged in. You're fully logged in, because all that'll show, but if when you go to log into here, if this doesn't now show your account, you're not actually logged in. So we can see on here too, I have the renamer in here. You can see it's not even showing any of them. So we'll go to earn and back. Is it going to show any of them on here? No, it's still not showing any of the names on here. I think it just doesn't like it because I have so many. But again, like, double checking that you are actually logged in, because you may have issues then too with getting paid correctly if you're not. So you just come in here. You can literally log on to these. I normally log on to earn history, but you can log on to account or store. I don't know if that one will get you there, but if you log into any of these on here, because this may all look right now, this all looks like I'm nice, good, and logged in, but am I really? Because it says it's chopping, it's got my logo, it's got all the info on here. This is currently a little bit late, but I'm not too worried about it yet. Less than 24 hours, so it's not a real big deal. But this looks like it's currently chopping and looking for work, but double checking to make sure you're actually logged in can be helpful. So let's shut that down. Hodl and Zuna Polena. I turned my 3090s off. 3060s and 3080s are doing great. Yeah, I think right now, what I covered and looked at, I think my 3090s look like they're doing much better than I thought they were. So I don't think it's a problem to be running the 3090s right now. Obviously, you got to take a look at what your electric rate is. I'm at 18 cents per kilowatt hour. So for the US, I think that's actually pretty high. For living in a major city, it's probably pretty low. I'm in the suburbs of Tampa. So technically kind of low for living in a big city. I think like all of California is more. New York's probably all more. But if you live in like a rural place, it's probably a lot less. I think 12 cents is still the average. So, yeah, like at the beginning of the year, they put my electric rate up. So it's definitely put some of this into flux. Like, salad is definitely not being as profitable for me as it was before. So I think I do need to be more diligent right now on, is this profitable and is this not profitable kind of thing. It's not as open and shut. Yeah, it's definitely profitable because my electric bill went from being $500 a month to now it's like $700 a month. So I need to figure that out and get my margins working for me better. But I think in part of that, shutting off my 3060s and my 3060 Ti's right now have definitely helped to close that gap where like I'm still making the same amount of money, but I'm just not I'm not spending as much on electricity. Let's see, that one I'm probably not going to talk about because I don't think that works. Matt's 1FIK. Also not sure if you have data, any difference on 128 gigabytes of RAM versus 64 gigabytes of RAM, any difference in container frequency or pay. So you need 8 gigabytes of RAM for your system in general to run. So that's technically not going to get counted towards what Salad uses. So Salad wants the maximum amount the customers pay for in the generic packages is 40 gigabytes of RAM. So technically with your system RAM plus that would be 48. So you actually need 64 to have the maximum amount of RAM that the customers will pay for. Sometimes having 64 over 32 matters. Sometimes you can make a little bit more. Right now, with what we're seeing, I think it's pretty much just like one big customer renting out the vast, like doing 80% of the work on Salad. So we're only seeing a couple jobs right now that aren't fitting into that big customer. So it can matter. 64 on most is preferable. What they have in here on the or on the Salad network monitoring, this for the most part is pretty accurate for what you're going to want. If you spent more than like $800 or $700 on that card, I would have at least 64 gigabytes of RAM. If you spent over $1,000 on that card, you may want to think about getting 120 gigabytes of RAM in there, but really 64 is all you necessarily need. 4090s aren't up here on the top anymore. But my 4090s, I actually have... There's no way that's 32 gigabytes of RAM on a 4090. That doesn't make any sense at all. I think that's a typo. And the 3060s, I definitely saw it for a long time. If I had the 64 gigabytes of RAM on the 3090 or on the 3060, half the time the 3060 would get rented, I was making more money on it. You could see, kind of tell it was using more RAM in Task Manager, so you can kind of see it. But sometimes you can, sometimes you don't. The customers have the ability to order jobs, custom jobs, so that's why I have more on the 4090s, because I think the 4090s, until the 5090s really get sorted out and they get this, they figure out how to write, customers figure out how to start writing everything in 64 gigabytes and 64 gigabyte code instead of 32 gigabyte code. That's why all the 50 series cards are on the bottom. I think the 4090 is going to be the top card and going to be the one that's going to have most likely to have the custom jobs written for it. So for all intents and purposes, I'm going to say that one. That's why the 4090s, I have the highest core and the most RAM in there. Not that they're necessarily going to get it. I believe like the job they run right now, the 25.9 cents at like $6.20 per day. That job, I think that only uses 40 gigabytes of RAM and like 2 cores or 4 cores or something like that. It's not using very much for your system. But if say you were to get like a $10 4090 job, that's not necessarily one of those ones that's standard in there. But if you were to get one, because we used to have those in there, that would be a custom job where they're using more RAM and more CPUs. So for your better cards, if you have more, than if somebody does want a custom job that could pay more and your system can run it, then you can also run that job. So hopefully that makes sense. It's definitely something where like you don't necessarily need it. So like my 3070s, I'm not going to bother running 120 gigabytes of RAM on a 3070 because it would be just pointless. It'd be a giant waste of RAM unless I had all that extra RAM just sitting around, which I don't. So on my 3070s, I think 32 gigabytes of RAM is plenty. 64, it might be a little bit better because there's that small chance if somebody says they do want that extra and you have the ability to run that job, where someone who only has 32 gigabytes of RAM and it can't run that job, then it can be a little bit better. But there aren't a lot of spots in Salad right now where I think you really see the benefit from it, because we're mostly just doing the one giant customer. So but I think there are a couple spots where you do see. I have a couple machines where instead of running at the 8.5 cents right now, they're running at the 10.5 cents. I'd imagine that like that 10 cents per hour job as opposed to 8.5 cents, that could be RAM or CPU cores. So they're paying a little more for one or the other. So it is something where it can still be good, but it's not. You're not necessarily gonna see it, but if you can do it, you're better off doing it than not doing it, I guess. Does that make sense? It kind of makes a difference and kind of doesn't make any difference at all. And another one as well from Matt1F1IK. Are you past break-even point on all hardware, including electricity? This seems like you're always down regardless of how much hardware you add due to electrical costs. This is kind of an advanced question. The vast majority of my hardware I already had from mining ETH and doing Chia. So from the ETH, everything is paid for. From doing Chia, I have half a petabyte of storage that I will probably never break even on. So it's just sitting in a box and probably going to wind up being e-waste eventually. But for the most part, all of my GPUs and the computers were pretty much all paid off. When I started Salad, I said I was going to put about a $5,000 or $4,000 to $5,000 investment in to upgrade to get up to like 30 machines. And I did that. It all worked really well. I got mostly what I needed was the frame for the PC. So I went to bc/pc.com, Brandon Coin Shop, and I bought probably 10 of his kits, and then I made a bunch of my own. Because I wanted to, for the 4090s, I wanted to build a bigger kit, and I wanted to look into that. Realistically, I think the kit that he makes, amazing. Really good way to start it out, to figure it all out. And if you can figure out how to do it all yourself, that's great. I have a bunch of parts that I bought trying to figure out how to do it all myself that I made a lot of mistakes early on. A lot of mistakes were made. But eventually I got it. So I bought a bunch of those. I did buy... Somebody was selling a bunch of their mining kits, so I bought 4 3090s in a rig for $1,800, I think. And basically I bought the 4 3090s, and then he gave me the rig for free, so I converted the rig over into another Salad rig, and I put the 4 3090s on the bc/pc.com combo kits, and did really well. Bought a couple of cards. I've traded a couple cards in and upgraded, but yeah, I'm well past the point of having it all paid off in the clear, plus electric. So everything I'm making now after electric for me is profit, but most of it was already paid off. So it does allow me to do a little bit of now I bought the 5060 Ti, but I traded that in with the Newegg program, so I'm only really paying $200 for that card, because they're paying me for the 3080. So still trying to do stuff on a budget. I did upgrade some RAM a couple days ago, maybe 2 weeks ago or something like that. I bought a bunch of RAM. It's been $200. But it's all pretty good. For the most part, my idea of this though is even with like the crypto mining, it wasn't necessarily ROI and getting the profit. Because I'm trying to stack equipment, my idea with Salad, even with spending the like the $5,000, I was only really planning to make like 2,500 after electric, and then I was going to consider it to be good. I only wanted to recoup half of my money. I thought for sure I was going to pivot off to something else by now. Warthog looked really good, but my equipment didn't quite line up for Warthog, so I started all of my new equipment that I was doing. I started building it specifically to be able to do Warthog really, really well, and then Warthog crashed. They got hacked, and the whole thing. No, they didn't even get. Warthog didn't even get hacked. ZegX got hacked and just completely crushed Warthog. I thought I'd be doing another AI rental program. Salad really does, in my mind, I think Salad looks to be the best one. If I was running all DDR5 and like Gen 5 equipment, I might be more interested to look at Vast. But because I'm not running Gen 5, everything I'm running basically is like Gen 4 for the most part. I'm not really that interested in looking at any other ones. I haven't seen anything from the other ones that looks like they would be better or not. So, pivoting right now, I don't know. I look like I'm going to sit on Salad until Salad doesn't look like it makes sense anymore. So, there have been points I've turned pretty much everything off, and then there have been points I've turned everything on, and it's going to keep going back and forth, and just kind of monitoring it and seeing how I feel that day. But hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, everything is covered and paid for, but it's not really from this thing. Having everything ROI'd is definitely really nice, and it should be your goal. But my goal for Salad specifically was not to ROI. My initial investment was not to even be worried about ROI. My initial investment was I wanted to grow. I wanted to grow as fast as I could. I wanted to get as much up and running on the system as I could, and then figure it out from there. I would love to have like 60 or 70 rigs running on Salad, but I think it's too much of a pain in the butt to monitor. Even trying to monitor 30 machines is too much of a pain in the butt. Having 20 machines running seems like it's much better. I'd like to try to get good machines running that are easy to monitor. So we'll see how all that goes. That seems really, really complicated answer, and I don't know if I answered what you wanted. DMP, a bunch of numbers. 0.4 cents and 4 cents are two totally different things. I tried doing a really good job distinguishing between what I'm saying in that. Sometimes I probably do slip, though, with all the numbers and letters. It all gets jumbled in my head sometimes. 0.4 cents per hour is 10 cents per day, which is just basic transcription work. Normally, I think they use those more of just to check to make sure your machine is working in general. When I get one, I normally just let it finish and then let it boost my reliability score on all my equipment because it said I did another job and I completed it. So normally I just let it finish even though it's running at a complete loss, because then it will gives your reliability numbers higher, so you're more likely to get a better job on the next one. So it is what it is. So if you get one, I just let those finish, and then 0.4 cents per hour, which is just multiplied by 10 from the 0.4 cents. So that'll be $1 per day instead of 10 cents per day. At my current electric rate, it just doesn't make sense for me to be doing any of those. Unfortunately, they're just not enough money. My margin at that point, I'm pretty sure I'm just losing money running those. So yeah, my 3060s and 3060 Ti's are all turned off. Kind of stinks. They were really good cards there for quite a while, but not looking to be as good right now for Salad. So they're all shut off. There's some more stuff in there talking about power usage and how that all goes. He wants to know if he thinks the 4060 Ti is a good card. What do you think? I love the 4060 Ti. Since Salad started, I bought 3 of them. I was very close when I upgraded or when I traded in the 3080, I did think about getting another 4060 Ti and decided I should probably just try the new 5060 Ti with the more VRAM, see how that one would work. I think the 4060 Ti's with the more memory, the 16 gigabytes of RAM, very good card. They're not as good with Salad right now as they used to be, because you used to get like $4 or $5 jobs with them, $4 or $5 per day with them. And now they don't seem like they are. They're just doing really good. They use a very small amount of electricity, and they're doing all right. $2 a day, you know, it's all right. I don't know yet if I'd really want to buy a 4060 Ti over buying a 5060 Ti, because I think they might both be the same price right now. Unless you can get the 4060 Ti for like significantly less than the 5060 Ti, I'd probably just buy the new 5060 Ti. But I don't know if that works for Salad yet or not. I might be buying this card and might just not be able to do anything with it at all. I might get it in and go, wow, this is dumb, and just throw it in the computer upstairs and then pull the 3060 out of that one and just take the thing off Salad altogether. So we'll see. We will see. And the last one, I don't think I'm going to talk about either, because that's about power limiting. So I already said the power limiting. Haven't got any errors, got errors now. Got to say, probably not a good idea to be doing. Just because if you're getting the errors, somebody said if you get too many of the errors, they'll ban your account. So maybe not the best thing to be playing around with. I guess if they ban my account, I don't really care. I'll go to another project or not. So that's how I roll. But yeah, probably not the best thing to be doing. But yeah, Salad, overall in general, I think looking really, really good. Still being real profitable. Definitely some tinkering in there. So we were really great on time, and now I went super far over on time. So if you did watch the whole video, I hope you like, subscribe, comment, come on back, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Hopefully I'll have 5060 Ti stuff in the next one, so we'll see. Actually, probably not. So hopefully I do one before it comes in, but hopefully we'll get some 5060 Ti information coming up real soon, though. So see you in the next one. Peace.